Jeff Rowe from 2Hex Garage. Well, you guessed it, back at Jimmy's, working on Jumpin' Jack Flash, our nostalgia front engine dragster. It's come a whole long way since December of 2023. And you know what, guys? This thing's really coming together. Obviously, you see we got the engine in there, transmission, all that fun jazz. Got the Hurst shifter in there, steering. It's painted. It's ready to rock and roll. Almost. We're back on the small things, like you saw in the video, installing a shifter, rebuilding part of the Hilborn injection stack. There's still a lot of little things to go on with this. We're still waiting on some parts to come in for the Hilborn injection stack. I just got the actual ram tubes on there dropped off so we can get them chrome powder coated. And once all that comes in with all the new O-rings and little seals and all that, we'll start plumbing all that up. But there's always those little things that we often overlook that need to be done. Running cables, doing a fire system, all that stuff, wiring, you name it. Well, what Jimmy and I are doing is we're just starting to tackle all those little things as they come up, as we see them. I have all the parts here for, I'm guessing, 99% of what we need to get done. But you know what, guys? It's part of the game. You know, when you build a car, you get the engine, transmission, rear end in, all that stuff. It really is all those little things that take the most time. The big things really don't. It's always little things. So with that, guys, Jimmy's over there preparing for a whole bunch of stuff. I'm over here rambling. We got a bunch of work to do. The little things take a lot of time. So that's what we're going to work on today. Probably a few more videos like this, but you know what? It's part of the game. It's part of the fun. And with that, guys, it's time to get to work. See ya. All right, so what we got going on here is Jimmy went ahead and he got the actual throttle bore hats, if you want to call them, set in place. He's gone through and retapped, well, chased the threads because Cerakote got in there, and got the gaskets on there, so that's good to go. Got the nozzles on there. Throttle shafts are in, blades are positioned where they need to be. Intake manifolds bolted down. So what we're doing now is, if you see different cables and all that, you run into the back here. This is going to be a throttle stop. This is our throttle cable, and we're making the piece that goes in between here for our fuel pedal. So when you mash the gas, it goes up here, and it's connected to the actual throttle blade. And then from there, there's an arm that comes across here. Kind of a neat little thing. I think I showed this when we were building the chassis. If you look at this, where the cables go, there's actually cable runs here built in, which is kind of neat. It helps keep them neat and all that. Obviously, zip ties are still used. But anyway, so that's what we're working on, is getting some cables installed, working on throttle, working on injection. And in addition to that, too, another cable that's going to run through there is going to be our fuel shutoff, which we're going to make a handle that's going to attach to our bracket here. So when you push the handle or pull it, however we decide to do it, it'll shut the fuel off. Still got to run all the fire system and all that. But yeah, guys, it's coming along. I think we need to get back to work. Later. All right, so what we're doing here is we're hooking up the fuel pedal. It's kind of a rough mock-up. We have to modify an existing bracket. So this here is the actual throttle blade here. Now there's going to be a linkage that goes from here to over there, so they open up evenly. What we have now is this cable running, and we set our fuel pedal where we want it with the blades absolutely wide open. Well, almost wide open. About right there. So what we need to do now is modify that bracket right there for this to lock into place. And you follow it back, and here's our fuel pedal. And what's going to happen is this will be, if you want to call it fully depressed, the go pedal is smashed, and we'll make a throttle stop. And here's a hole, and we'll put a throttle stop in there. So that's what we're working on now. These are little things, again, talking about. Add up to quite a bit. But you know what, guys? It's getting there. See you soon. So what we're doing now is we do have, well, obviously the shifter cable's all hooked up, and that's done. We're working on some cables, and we got the throttle cable hooked up, and right there what we did, it's a throttle stop, and it runs through that tube I was showing you guys, routes up here to a bracket we made, and it controls that. Now, it's still all got to be hooked up to the rest of the stuff, but in order to do that, we got to rebuild the magic box, get that in place, still waiting on those parts. So now what we're doing is, this is your there's a barrel valve in here, and this is your fuel on and off. So what happens is your fuel comes in here, and it can pump either this way to your injection setup, whatever way that goes, or it can be a bypass. One way it bypasses is so it just routes through the pump and here, and so it doesn't really burn up the pump or anything. It has to, yeah. It'll burn up the pump if not. So like when you're done with the run, you'll hit a handle or a push and kill your mag, and it'll just rotate fuel in there.
You pull the fuel shut off.
Yeah.
You always pull the fuel shut off and then let it kill the engine, then click the mag off, because that way you don't ever try to start it with a loaded cylinder again. But on a Hilborn, if you deadhead the pump and just shut it off, it'll blow the seals out of it.
And that's what we don't want to do. And we've got 2 new seal kits coming for that. So what we're doing now is we have a cable for that fuel shutoff. That's what we're working on. I still have a lot to learn with this mechanical injection. Wish me luck. But you know what? Pretty darn cool. See you in a few. All right, so we're going to call this one a wrap. Got all our cables hooked up except for the actual fire bottle pull up there. It's in there, but we still got to get everything plumbed up in here. But as far as our throttle goes, that's hooked up. Transmission cable's hooked up, and so is our fuel shutoff. So if you look here on our throttle cable, we're going to make a tow hook here, but you hit the gas and it's got to stop and a spring return. So that stop actually sets this here. So when you open this up all the way, you'll notice it's straight up and down. You can adjust that either up here or you can adjust it back there, or you can adjust it on the cable. Like I said, we still need to do the linkage across here, but we can't do that until the parts come in to rebuild the pillbox, or as Jimmy calls, the magic box. And then from down here, our fuel shutoff and all that, that's all hooked up. Jimmy made a bracket, got all that taken care of. And, that's your bypass and your fuel on. That's routed through those cool cable holes right there and comes back here. And there's going to be a ball on here. And you just pull on and on, off and on, shut off, shut on. Obviously, showed you the last one, transmission cable. It's all taken care of. So, yeah, a lot of work. And what you saw here, what Jimmy was doing, we have new hardware for the Hilborn setup. It's all stainless. He went through and chased all the threads, had a little bit of the Cerakote material in there, didn't want that. So he went through, cleaned all that up, got that back installed. So those are actually on there permanently now. I'm going to be taking the stacks to go get powder coated chrome. So those look all nice. And yeah, see, these are the little thing, guys. This is like a day and a half's worth of work. Just hooking up throttle, hooking up cables, getting all that stuff right. Quite a bit of stuff that goes on with this. But yeah, you know what? Looks awesome, works awesome. Still have a lot of work to do, but we're getting there. I think our next steps we're going to do is most likely get the fire system hooked up. It's actually pretty easy plumbing. It comes with everything needed. One of them runs here, and it'll go in front of the engine, and the other one's going to snake through here, and it points up towards the driver. And what happens is you have this pull handle here. You pull that, and it would extinguish fire if needed to be. So, yeah, that's what we got going on next. And then on the next part of that would be, well, you see the fuel tank there. We did already do some fuel tank prep. The plugs for the old return lines that someone had in here, we got those plugged. We got the old fuel outlet, that's plugged. And there's a 90 underneath here. So what we got to do is plumb it from here up to here, create returns, and go back. We're not going to be using hose per se. You'll see how we do that. It's pretty neat. But you know what, guys? Pretty tired. It's been a long weekend, many hours, and I'm going to go home and cook some cheeseburgers and kind of relax. See you in the next one. Jumpin' Jack Flash. It's a gas.